Hello, everyone. Matthew, NOLAnerdcast here at Wizard World Comic Con New Orleans with Kody Chamberlain once again. A follow-up interview, one of our few who has graced us with his presence twice now. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's been a good show.
Well, welcome back. We're always glad to see you. You're one of the few local successes that we love to see here. I mean, how since last year when we talked to you, we mostly talked about Sweets, and you were super cool and gave us an autographed copy of it. And if you haven't read it, do it. It's fantastic. How have you kept yourself busy in the years since?
I just completed a very large graphic novel called On Purpose, written by Vic Strecker. There's the book there. It's a hardcover sort of semi-autobiography of him and some fictional tales, a little bit of philosophy, like this really weird amalgamation of all these things into one cool book. So that's finally done, turned in, everything's printed, nice hardcover came out, it looks beautiful. I'm currently writing my new Creator-Owned series. The working title is called The Fixers. I may or may not change it, that's my working title. 12 issues outlined, 4 issues of script done, and I'm drawing the first issue, so it's moving forward. Because I do all the jobs on the book, it does take a little longer than just penciling. But it's moving forward, pushing, and I think the work's really cool. I think people are going to love it.
Well, I gotta feel like it's probably more rewarding when you've done every aspect of the book and then it comes out, and if it is even any sense as good as Sweets was, I know I'll enjoy it at least. And cool. I know Sweets was a nice success for you, so hopefully you get to strike lightning twice there.
Yeah, Sweets did really well. We're in France now. We have a French adaptation, Italian. So it's kind of spreading out and growing wings and turning into this other thing.
Look at you going international.
Yeah, international. That's right. But yeah, the new book is really different in a lot of ways, but it's also familiar. So it's set in New Orleans. It's a crime story, but instead of a detective, instead of being on the side of law enforcement, it's on the side of organized crime. So it's a little more on the criminal side of the element than Sweets. And but I'll keep a lot of crossover, a lot of familiar locations. Although it is a new book and a new title and a new direction, I think anyone that enjoyed Sweets is going to love this new book.
Are you gonna be one of those? You know how whenever New Orleans is in the media, it's always like Mardi Gras, and there's always a swamp somewhere, and there's an alligator involved. Are you gonna kind of try and avoid those cliches in it, or are they gonna be present?
Well, you know, there's certain things about Louisiana you can't avoid, like mosquitoes and alligators. But it's certainly, the thing I try to do is give a sense of reality and purpose to the state, because I live here, I'm from here.
Right.
I'm able to give it some credibility, I think, and there's some locations that I do shy away from. Bourbon Street, Mardi Gras, I'm not really going to do that stuff. But Louisiana's a real place. There's some incredible locations, some really fun territory to explore. So I'm doing a lot in New Orleans. I'm also doing a lot where I'm from, Thibodaux. Now I'm in Lafayette and Acadiana, the Cajun area of the state. So really it's going to be a Gulf Coast type concept. Because if you're doing organized crime, it is a territory. It's not just a city. So I'll be able to play with a lot of good locations people haven't seen before in comics, and really pull a lot of reality into it. Because there's some fascinating stuff that goes on people just don't know about.
Right. Are you worried that you're going to have such an accurate take on organized crime that they're going to put a hit out on you?
The hope is that that would happen, because that would really increase sales of the book.
Nothing increases sales like the death of the author.
Right. I mean, that's right. No, I'm being very careful that I am referencing some history, but all my characters are new, all the locations. I'm building a fictional world. If I happen to hit something real, maybe I'll get in trouble, but I did enough research on the history. I'm not doing any present day research. I'm really making sure that I build my own world and not reference that world directly, because you can get into trouble, and it's happened before.
And we don't want a rip from the headlines episode of Law and Order about the comic artist that got too deep, too close. So, I mean, how has the con been for you since last year? I mean, it's grown obviously, but have you noticed like an increase in fans and just people visiting you?
Yeah, I was told the show is 4 times bigger than it was last year.
Well, we're on a whole separate side of the convention center.
Yeah,
it's
right.
much bigger. It's awesome.
And I apologize, the interview isn't awesome enough to make me cry. I just caught like some concrete.
No, it's because it's so awesome that you're crying tears of joy that we chose you for an interview.
So amazing,
I understand.
I just can't contain myself.
I mean, it's the cross we have to bear.
Well,
so
the real estate on the floor is twice as big as last year. That's what I was told, and the attendance is up 4 times.
Which is awesome.
So that's really great growth for a show. But I think the New Orleans Comic Con has the ability and the potential to become as big or bigger than San Diego Comic-Con because the restaurants, the hotels, the public transportation, the convention center itself is massive. There's really a lot of room for growth here where other conventions, they just don't have that. The city doesn't have the capacity to hold 200,000 people at a convention, but this city does, yeah.
You heard it here first, guys. Kody said, "Suck it, San Diego. We're coming for you."
That's right. That's right.
It's ridiculous. What I like about this show is that even though it has grown like that, Artist Alley still takes up almost like half the convention center. Like artists are still a huge focus, and that's been more fun for me is seeing the comic side of it. Because someone like San Diego has pretty much been just movies and the celebrity aspect, and this is still very comics focused.
Yeah, San Diego Artist Alley is pretty much in the men's room now. It's just kind of shoved off in the
Really
back of the.
like way off to the side.
No, Wizard does a great job. The floor plan's great. The aisles are nice and wide, so even when it gets busy, like peak time on Saturday yesterday, people could still get through and walk by and see things. I think the floor plan's great. Artist Alley is centralized, which is very unusual at Comic-Cons. That more and more shows are pushing Artist Alley off to the side, so they do a great job on layout. They come around, they check on us to make sure we're happy, and they get feedback. So I'm really impressed with the growth and their ability to get better and better with every show.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. I don't know if you remember last year, we had a couple final questions for you.
Sure, bring it.
Well, this time we have a philosophical question for you.
Okay.
Do you think rocks are actually soft and that they just tense up when you touch them?
That's a pretty good question. You know, there are things that happen like that in nature. So my theory on that is that your hands, when you touch the rock, the little electrodes like the iPhone screen, it sort of senses the movement. So the rock itself doesn't tense up, only the actual place where your finger touches. So if you were somehow able to get something else to feel the backside of the rock, it could be soft. So it may not be the rock as a whole, but just the actual pressured areas where you touch. You ever touch one of those electronic things where the sparks follow your fingers?
Yeah.
That's what's happening inside the rock.
That is the best answer ever for that. All right, well, thank you very much, Kody. It's a pleasure to see you again.
Thanks, I appreciate
Can't wait
it.
to buy you that drink.
Right on.
You have a great last day of the con, and we'll catch you on the social medias and
Absolutely, yeah.
keep in touch because
I'm
it's
Kody
been a fun
Chamberlain.
year. Yeah, how can people reach you?
KodyChamberlain.com. I'm on Twitter, LinkedIn, all that stuff. So, KODY.
Turns out, right here, Chamberlain,
Yeah.
exactly as it sounds. Thank you again. You have a great day.
Cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.